Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Joe, and this is my channel, The Eager Expat. If you've never watched any of my videos, I live here in Bangkok, Thailand, about 3 years now. I've visited many times over the years, along with at least 100 other countries. I love to travel. I always thought I would move down to Mexico. I'm from San Diego. But I came back to Bangkok in 2013, I think, and yeah, I figured when I retire, whenever that was, 2021, I guess, or 2022, I was coming straight to Bangkok. That's what I did, and I haven't looked back. I miss my friends and family, of course. I'm a long ways from home, but this is just a great place to live. So nobody can make the decision for you if you should move to Thailand or not. But I'm going to throw some things out there. Some of them might be a little controversial. There's a lot of people online that are very opinionated. I'm talking to you, Facebook. But this is my channel, so I'm going to throw out some of the things I think. I've met hundreds and hundreds of people, maybe 500 people through my little channel, and just meeting people organically around town. So I kind of have a good, however you want to say it, I've seen a ton of people and how they're adjusting to moving over here. I'll say 90% of the people, great. Maybe 5% should go on home, and then maybe there's another 5% that are here kind of complaining every step of the way. So that's certainly not me. I love being here, but I keep realistic goals and realistic expectations. I think some people think it's just a paradise over here of 50-cent beers, and that's just not the case. So we'll go over some things. Now, normally my channel, I don't even show myself. I just kind of walk and talk, and I'd rather show Bangkok than Bangkok over my shoulder. So let's go through the neighborhood. It's going to get dark on me here in a little bit, and let me go over some things I jotted down. Now, it's crazy windy tonight. I hope the video quality is okay, or the wind. I should probably keep that little wind guard on, but I'm just wandering through the neighborhood. This is Soi 26, Sukhumvit Soi 26. Soi just means street. It's nothing too tricky. I'm gonna wander through this back neighborhood. Actually, I better go in the other direction with the wind behind me. But this is everybody's heading home from work. I will oftentimes see these videos on, can I live in Thailand or the Philippines or wherever on $1,000 a month, and lately it's became $2,000 a month. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're on a very, very strict budget, it's possible. But I'm going to go over some reasons. I did a video on my budget, and it's a lot closer to $3,500. Now, I'm not really on a budget. I just spend what I want to spend and eat where I want to eat, travel when I want to travel, and it seems to be between $3,000 and $4,000. Again, if you don't have $4,000 a month, I get it. You're going to have to be a little stricter on your budget. But again, I've met 500 people over here. Yeah, and out of that 500 people, I don't know, over 400 of them, they're kind of like me. I mean, we've worked hard all our life and either retired from the military or did 40 years in a company, or a combination of everything, sold homes, on and on. I know there are plenty of people that maybe have just gone through a terrible divorce and lost everything, and all they have left is a Social Security check and a very small amount of savings. Well, yeah, that's going to be a very different budget than my budget of, well, I've been divorced, but that was a long time ago, and I had enough time to recoup from all that. And I'm also lucky to have a decent pension. I'm a mailman, retired mailman, so that helps. So let's go over some of the things, but just right off the bat, can I live here on $1,000 a month? That's not going to be this video. I can make that video and get all kinds of clicks because that's a very interesting title. Yeah, I'm in the UK or Australia or the US, and I'm getting killed. My rent's close to $3,000 a month. Tell me more about living on $1,000 a month. Well, it's not going to happen here in Bangkok. You can maybe keep a roof over your head, and it's not going to be the greatest of places to live here in the capital city. Now, if you went off even 50 miles in any direction around Bangkok, yeah, you can get a place for $150, and if you exclusively eat Thai food, maybe you can get it done. But that's not what I choose to do. I want to be here in town and enjoy everything this whatever amount of people are here, I think it's over 10 million, has to offer. And that's going to come at more of an expense. And this is very light traffic. I live on a street that connects two major streets. I'll oftentimes get the comments, and I try to respond to every comment, but some of them are just a little silly. I don't understand the folks that come to a city as large as Bangkok, Thailand, and will make a comment about they can't stand the traffic. Yeah, there's going to be traffic in New York City and London and Bangkok. It just kind of is what it is. If you're looking to move to Bangkok and not have to deal with traffic, this may not be the city for you. And there's my building. It was, I think, built in 2002, so that's an older building by Thai standards. But it's larger. I have a 52-meter unit. And again, some people might say, 52 meter, I need at least 200 meters. Well, good luck with that. Most of the condos are 31 to 35 meter for a little bit more affordable one bedroom. And by that, I mean, I pay for my condo 19,000 baht, and that's a deal. Other similar size condos, I'm up on a high floor, so that oftentimes commands a little more. But even a unit on the 5th floor in my building is going closer to 30,000 baht now. Now, everything's negotiable, so you might get that 30,000 down to, I don't know, 26,000. But 19, that's just kind of a special arrangement I have. I haven't been in one single problem with my landlady, and I pay my rent twice a year, every 6 months. She just gets a little pile of money. So we've left it at that. How long I stay there, who knows? I'm getting a little ants in my pants to maybe check out another section of the city, but it's a great place to live. But even at 19,000 baht, I don't even know what that is with today's exchange rate. About 600 bucks? Well, yeah, it's not $150 to live here. Now, the building next to mine has 120 and 200 meter units, 3-bed, 3-bath, but even a 2-bed, 2-bath, I think is going to be 60,000 baht. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, across the way, that is Sukhumvit Soi 24, and you could quite easily spend 250,000 baht a month on your rent in that area. With that being said, I have a friend who just found a place and negotiated 25,000 baht for a 40-meter unit. So there's all kinds of little hidden gems. But if you want to come to any Asian city, if it's Bangkok, Tokyo, Seoul, and you still kind of have that McMansion mindset, well, you're going to be paying a ton of money over here. You're going to have to slim it down if you're trying to save some cash. Just here on my street is another example. This first building off to the left is the Krom. I know my friend's boss lived in a 2-bed, 2-bath in there for 90,000 baht. And that 6 or 8 story building just behind it, I looked at a unit in there. I could have got, this was 3 years ago, for 14,000 baht. So today, maybe 19. Now, I can't recall maybe 1 or 2 folks meeting people that think they're going to come over and just walk into Terminal 21 and, you know, I'm 60 years old and I'm going to walk up to every 20-something and she can't wait to take you out on a date and pay for everything and on and on. That's a little silly. I think, again, that's just kind of a internet urban legend, and it's just not what's going to happen. So if you're interested in dating, please put that into your budget and what you're going to do on those dates. If you want to go on an expensive vacation to Japan, well, that's going to cost more than sitting on the couch watching Netflix and buying a couple of beers at the 7-Eleven. You'll just have to find that person that's going to be agreeable with what you have in mind. Again, a very popular thing you'll read in Facebook groups and on, and I try to avoid all that. I recommend you do the same, is I'm not a walking ATM and blah, blah, blah. You know, I went out on a date in Thailand, and can you believe she expected me to pay for all the drinks and pay for dinner? Yeah, I can believe it. Just be sensible. There are some great people over here in Thailand. I don't care if you're gay, straight, whatever. You're gonna be able to partner up if that's what you're looking for. Now, I don't really care for when people will say in their videos, yeah, I want to remain single and I'm just going to pay to play. I don't care for that term. I get it. If you want to hang out at Soy Cowboy or Nana Plaza, okay. But that's not going to be free either. I've got many buddies that do that, and they don't use that phraseology, but call it $150. So you tell me how many times you're going to go out and play. But $150, say it four times a month, is that reasonable? I don't know. That's $600 right there. Again, I very rarely will see that in how I'm living on $1,000 or $1,500, even $2,000 a month. I don't see that line item. And again, if you're coming over with a partner, well, yeah, Soy Cowboy costs aren't going to be an item on your budget. However, any man or lady with any common sense is going to know in a relationship, there's going to be certain expenses. If that's birthday gifts or just going out to dinner, everything's going to cost twice at times. Just is what it is. And it's no different here in Thailand. If you're coming over thinking this is a third world country and they're just going to be happy to see you with your $1,100 a month Social Security check, yeah, that's just not the case. Now, I'm not saying it's all about money and that every Thai lady is looking for you to buy them a house, like this beautiful house I'm looking at, but most of the ladies running around Bangkok that I've dated, I have a girlfriend right now, and including her, they've gone to college and they're working corporate gigs. They're wanting to hang out with a Western person and possibly do a little traveling and go to some nice restaurants and that kind of thing. My girlfriend Boone, super reasonable. She just likes her 3 or 4 ciders on Friday night, and I have to kind of coax her along to go try a new rooftop bar or whatever, and she'll go, but she's certainly not wanting me to take her to a rooftop every weekend and spend, well, you could easily spend $200 or $300 up there. So here's an example of these appear to be less than 30. There are 22-meter studios and 26 and 28-meter one-bedrooms. It's all about being affordable. I mean, a lot of folks want to come over to Thailand because, yeah, I heard my buddy got a $350 a month place. Well, that's great until you take a look at it, and it's a little bit like a large hotel room. Again, there's nothing wrong with that in a nice, clean building. But if you're going to demand the space you had in your 4-bed, 3-bath house in Texas, that is going to cost, you might as well rent a whole floor of condos. Now myself, I like these cool, older, large buildings, but this building I'm pointing at, I think it's called the San Francisco Court. It's kind of expensive because they're 150-meter 3-bed, 2-bath units. So even older building, it's going to be, I can't remember, 70 or 80,000 baht a month. So that's probably enough about dating. Just again, when you see these budget videos and it includes their rent, their power, their cell phone, and going out for 2 beers a week, and that's it, there are just so many more things to consider. The majority of the guys I know, again, I hate to just talk about meeting guys over here. I've met lots of single ladies, well, not a lot, maybe a half dozen, and probably the same amount, maybe a dozen couples. And then I've met 80% or 85% single guys that are coming over, and they, I don't know, like, we didn't talk about dating on every time I met somebody, but a lot of times we did. And I'll say 80% of the guys I met are looking to either do a little partying in Nana Plaza or Soy Cowboy at an expense, or to find a nice person and hopefully partner up. And they 100% expect that's going to come with a couple of plane tickets to Krabi or Bali and maybe some nice birthday presents. It just is what it is. It's no different here in Thailand than it is in the U.S. But just come on over, keep an open mind, and don't believe everything you read online, especially Facebook. I would believe about 50% of what you read on Facebook. Many of those so-called Thailand or Bangkok experts have never even been here. They just watch every YouTube video and read every Facebook group, and they're the first ones to tell you that this law is changing tomorrow, and they're now going to tax my Social Security check of $900 at 35%, which is nonsense, but they will 100% say it 100,000 times. And when you try to explain to them that, first off, they're not going after your Social Security check, it's already been taxed in the U.S., and I don't pretend to be any kind of expert on this. Second off, even if they were going to tax it, Thailand has the same kind of scale as the U.S., where the first amount of money is zero tax, then the next amount of money is 10%, the next amount is 12%, and it caps out at 35%. And you're nowhere near the 35% mark, my friend, with your $900 Social Security check. So stop spreading that foolishness on Facebook. People are actually listening to you. And even with the guys that choose to stay single and maybe do a little partying down at Nana Plaza or Soy Cowboy, we're all just human, and those are some nice ladies. I have no judgment towards anybody in any way they have to make their living. And again, I've spoke with plenty of these ladies over the years, and they are taking care of 5 or 6 or 10 family members back up in Isan. So it just is what it is. But guys that hang out in a lot of those bars, they get sometimes attached to some of these ladies, and that can maybe turn out okay. I mean, I'm sure there's stories of guys marrying somebody they met in a bar and everything's worked out fine for the last 30 years. But for the most part, you're probably gonna be asked at some point to take her to the gold shop, or she needs 20,000 baht to have her cat's whisker operation, on and on. Or you can just get a nice girlfriend who may want the new iPhone at Christmas time. It is what it is. It's kind of better than the ex-wife that wanted a new car every 3 years, and those payments were $1,500, $1,700. Now, one other item you have to take into consideration, and I rarely see it in the Living on $1,500 a month guys video, is medical insurance, dental needs. I mean, we all have different issues. I have plenty of dental work in my mouth, and I need to, I've been lucky since I've been here, but at some point I'll crack a crown or something, and I am paying cash for that. I had MetLife Dental from the U.S. It was about $50 a month, and it didn't even really cover much over here. I'd go to get my teeth cleaned and submit the $40 bill, and I'd get back $3 or something. So I just canceled that, and I asked my dentist. She's great. I go to no, I don't. I go to Bangkok International Dental Hospital on Sukhumvit Soi 2 in Nana, and I just asked her, my front tooth I broke on motorcycle handlebars. I used to race motocross, and I did more breaking a teeth than winning races. But I asked her if I changed that crown, which I've had to change 3 or 4 times over the last 40 years or maybe 45 years. She said it'd be about between $400 and $500. So yeah, that's not much more than a copay if I had dental insurance in the U.S. Medical insurance is another deal. If you just get a cold and one of your Soy Cowboy ladies gives you a little something you need to go address, yeah, that's nothing. Just go ahead and pay for that. But if you get cancer or kidney disease or something seriously goes wrong over here, I think people think it's going to be a $2,000 problem. It could very easily be a $25,000 problem, if not much, much more. So having at least catastrophic health insurance is a very smart idea. And from what I understand, they stop writing the policies at age 70. So if you're 69, you better lock that down. If you're 72 and you got your policy at 58, I think they keep you on, but they don't, they're not big into taking new customers at that age 70 mark. Myself, I'm lucky. I have my U.S. postal policy or federal retired policy. It does cost me about $280 a month, but I am not complaining. It's Cadillac coverage. Now, of course, there's going to be cost involved if you want to come over and get a car. In Bangkok, it's pretty tricky to just drive around town. But I get it. Sometimes I get the itch to just hop in the car and drive off in one direction or another. But that's going to come at an expense. And there's where I've walked from. If you see in the distance the Four Wings Hotel, my condo is right next door. I'm not trying to come off as finger pointing or do it this way instead of that way. It just kind of wears thin when I hear these so-called experts talking about living on street food 100% of the time. Well, I like Thai food as much as the next guy, but for one, I don't eat a lot of street food. It's almost the same cost to have a nice meal in a local restaurant as getting my soup with a baggie and rubber band. So I just do that. I mean, I get it. You might pay 40 baht for the bag of soup, or you might pay 55 whole baht for the soup in a bowl, and that's what I choose to do. And I don't eat that every day, 3 meals a day. So if you want a burger and a couple of beers, that's going to be 20 bucks. Now, I like some chicken foot soup as much as the next guy once in a while, but I don't want to eat it every day. Now, certain things like the chicken lung on a stick, yeah, that's a hard pass for me. And I've just never met anybody here in Bangkok, even some guys I know that are on a pretty tight budget. They still want to go out and have beers and get a steak dinner once in a while. And yeah, I mean, myself, if I want to do that every night of the week, it's just not that much of a problem. Here in Thailand, you're still going to be in that $3,500 a month range. And I'm not pushing my numbers on anybody. I'll say most people I know, they kind of live in that same area, 3,000 to 4,000. I don't know anybody on a super tight budget, maybe a couple of folks. But again, I am in Bangkok. If I were in Udon Thani or some little village off somewhere, every other person would be living on $1,000 a month. So please save me in the comments on "you're crazy. I've lived on $900 a month for the last 58 years up in wherever Thailand." I get it. Come on down here to Bangkok and see if you could live on that in a week. Now, I'll be the first one to say I'm spending quite a bit of money. At say I think I spent a little over $4,000 this month, 4,200 bucks, something like that. But I bought some plane tickets. I went on a dive trip, just different things I'm going to do, and they cost money. If you want to play golf twice a week, well, that's not free over here in Hua Hin or Pattaya. It's going to be cheaper than Bangkok, and I don't play golf, but just a rough estimate is 75 bucks, 100 bucks to go out, rent a car, caddy, beers on the course, on and on. If you're going to do that twice a week, that's going to add up. Again, do what you want to do, but put it down on the budget. And the $1,500 budget guy, I guess he's just sitting around reading. And I don't mean to sound so harsh. I don't mean that person doesn't do anything, but yeah, you're not going to be playing golf even once a week if you're trying to live on $2,000 a month in Bangkok. It's just not going to happen. You might play golf twice a year. And I think I already mentioned, I'll put a link in the video description to my budget video. I got a lot of response from it, some constructive criticism. I got a few comments on, man, how are you spending that much, when I pretty sensibly broke it down. And when they said that, they threw back I spend this much on my rent, this much on my phone, and this much on food, and that's it. And what I'm getting at is those aren't going to be your only expenses in life. Even that person, unless they're just going to let their teeth fall out of their head and just kind of risk it by never going to the doctor and until they feel sick and die one day, you're going to have other expenses in life. Even not being so dramatic. Is your laptop ever going to blow up? Is your phone never going to get lost? Things are going to happen. Are you ever going to want to travel home? Okay, well, that's not going to be cheap. You're going to land in LAX and rent a car and get a hotel room before you drive off to wherever to meet the kids. Then you're going to take them out to dinner for probably 200 bucks. Is all going to add up. Put it down on the budget. With all that being said, and I hate to use the phrase live like a king, but you're gonna live good over here. I'm spending about what I spent in San Diego. Now, I lived reasonably in San Diego. I rented out my house to a Navy nurse, and I lived on an old sailboat, and I saved 60% of what I earned in overtime and on and on. So I knew how to stretch a buck. I still was able to get out and watch bands at the Casbah and do my thing. I wasn't drinking as much as I do over here because I was always driving, and drinking's a big expense over here. I just have so many friends. It's very, very easy to at least be invited, or you invite somebody out 5 times a week. It's just a real social place, and we all kind of live close to one another. You can just ring up 2 or 3 buddies and you can all be down at the same pub within a half hour. So you got to kind of watch yourself. I'm not saying don't go out and have some drinks. I sure do. But you also got to mix in my case, these 10-mile hikes around town with my YouTube hobby, or whatever it is you're going to do, hitting the gym, doing some Muay Thai classes, whatever. You got to keep healthy. Now, myself, I've said it before, I'm not trying to save a lot of money or live on a super tight budget. So I get out, do exactly what I want to do. It's just I get so much more value for my money over here, mainly because the rent is so cheap and just other things. I mean, heck, I was just in Vegas earlier this year, and I just saw something online. I didn't encounter this, but the $18 Bud Light at some casino, that's just out of hand. I get it. When a beer is $3.50 here in Bangkok, you're going to get plenty of people saying, that's crazy, I'm going to Cambodia, it's still 25 cents. Or, well, I've been to Cambodia, it's whatever, $1. But you're gonna get that crowd that it's over, Thailand's over, I'm off to Vietnam. Okay, well, when all those places, the beer becomes $2, I guess you'll be going to Delhi, or maybe that Chinese city that gets all the old laptop batteries and everybody's glowing, but beer's still 50 cents. Myself, I'll pay the extra $2 to not live in a toxic waste dump. So a strong consideration when thinking about moving over here is how flexible are you? How much can you just go with the flow? There are a lot of changes here in Thailand, and it just blows people's mind if it's some new proposed law. Something was just proposed the other day, and it's never going to happen. And this guy couldn't wait to tell me how he's going to Cambodia. Now, he's never been to Thailand, and he's already moving to Cambodia. It just is what it is, because they put a little blurb out. Some guy ran something up a flagpole that's never going to happen about not serving beer in the bar between 2 and 5 p.m. like they don't sell at 7-Eleven. It's never going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but I doubt if it's going to happen. I've seen so many of these things just come and go, and so many people online, it's just making their head explode. The new TDAC that you have to fill out when you arrive in Thailand. Forget it, I'm not going to Thailand, I'm going here, there, whatever. Well, I don't know where you're going. I did something similar to a TDAC. 3 days before you arrive, you have to, I think you put the little app on your phone, whatever. You got to get a QR code, so you just kind of breeze through customs and all, and there's not a lot of questions. You've already answered those questions on the app. It's the same in Indonesia. I think I did the same in Hong Kong. Japan, I know I did it. So I guess that guy is not going anywhere if a simple 5-question TDAC, I don't even know what it stands for, Thailand Digital Arrival Card perhaps, if that's going to blow your mind. He's probably the same guy that thinks they're going to take 35% of his $800 Social Security check. And I especially like when they say, well, I'm going to Laos or Cambodia, like there's no visa regulations there. Good luck with that. I think the guys that used to live in the Philippines and say how you can just stay there for 3 years on a visa exempt and leave for 1 day and get another 3 years, I think a lot of that has changed, and it's maybe blew their mind. Hey, things just change. You used to be able to do a quick border run here in Bangkok, just run across into Cambodia for 1 day and come right back into Thailand, and you were good to go. That's not happening anymore. And I also have met at least a dozen guys, maybe more, that have came here, maybe even moved here from the Philippines, that are so surprised that they speak English in Bangkok in 90% of the places you're going to hang out as an expat. If you go up to some small farm in Isan, yeah, you better brush up on your Thai. But it's no different in the Philippines. Again, guys that have maybe never even been to the Philippines, well, I'm going there, not Thailand, because they speak English. That's the language. Well, they also speak Basai and Tagalog, and I think another half dozen different dialects, and yeah, they might have some English thrown in there. But if it's Hua Hin, Pattaya, Chiang Mai, you're gonna get by just as an English speaker. Now, with that being said, I have a couple of friends in Thai language class, and that's a very good thing. I tried very hard my first year I was here, just memorizing vocabulary and trying to do it on my own, and it just kind of went in one ear and out the other. Maybe I'll even stick my head in a class one day, if nothing else, just to be polite. And I am with my girlfriend, who kind of only wants to speak English, and she wants me to correct her if she says, whatever, I'm not done. No, I'm not done. Okay. She doesn't say I'm not done. It's just the first thing that popped into my head. But just out of politeness, it'd be nice to have a conversation with her in Thai, but it's certainly not a necessity, not in my case. Now, with other guys, it is. I can think of one YouTube channel, and I'm sure there are several, and forget about YouTube. There's 1,000 other examples, if not 10,000, of guys that come over and they're kind of forced to learn Thai because their partner barely spoke a word of English. Well, you're going to become fluent pretty darn quick. But if you're reading all the experts on Facebook and YouTube, and for the 10th time I'll say it, I am zero an expert on anything. I'm just a guy getting by, and I'm trying to share some of my experiences, maybe some of my screw-ups over here in Thailand, and in hopes that you don't make the same mistake I do. But it's just not that complicated. If you're concerned or scratching Thailand off the list because some guy on Facebook told you, well, they speak perfect English in the Philippines and they don't speak a word of English in Thailand, that guy just does not know what he's talking about. And I'll say 99% of guys that, and ladies that learn Thai are good people and very sensible. There's just that 1%. They learn Thai and then they want to correct your Thai. Well, Joe, you're saying sukhumvit. It's actually sukhumvit. Calm down. I've said it in other videos. I come from San Diego, not San Diego. And I'm half Mexican. So if anybody can get away with the San Diego, it's me. I'm not going to tell you need to roll your tongue when you say it. I probably made 50 videos where I said sukhumvit, and that's after visiting a dozen times. So I get it. We all make mistakes. So the bottom line, just relax. Don't overthink. Don't overplan. Don't, well, I shouldn't, as a YouTuber, say don't be watching all these YouTube videos over and over. Sure, I'll show you the lay of the land, but I try to be very careful, and I'll usually follow up with, well, this is what's going on today. I'm at immigration today. It's November 1st, 2023, and still I'll get comments, January 12th of 2025, well, it's not that way today. Well, no kidding. You think things might change in 2 years? Just things are going to change. So these different things you see online, or even if it's from today, you might go in and have a totally different experience. That's almost famous at Bangkok immigration, or really any Thai immigration. Whatever happened to your buddy in the 11 o'clock appointment might be night and day from what is asked of you at the 11:15 appointment. It just is what it is. I've said it over and over. You got to roll with the flow, or just pay an agent. I'll say 90% of my buddies use an agent. I've used an agent, and I've did the visas on my own. It is much easier to use an agent, but it's going to come at a cost. If you want to, and I don't know what the exact cost is, let's call it $1,500 to $2,000 to set up your initial nano for retirement. That's what I have. I don't know what the other costs are on a DTV or an education or any of those things, but it's not going to be free to have an agent walk you through that. Even if you're paying the school, you're paying for that immigration service one way or another. But for the nano, for them to walk you through, help you open a bank account, on and on, yeah, $1,500 to $2,000. It's going to be much more than that if you need to use their $25,000 US shown in a bank account. You're not going to rent that money for free. And then once you get it all done and you go to extend the next year and the year after that and the year after that, $300, $400, $500. If it's $220 up in some little town in Isan, I have no idea what's going on in Isan. Down here in Bangkok, it's never going to be $200. You might get lucky and get that extension done for $350, or you might go to a law office that charges $600. It's just kind of all over the place. Now, personally, I'm kind of glad it's not a slam dunk to just move here and stay here, roll on in, stay 3 years, leave for 1 day, and get another 3 years. The folks that are running around Thailand have figured it out, have jumped through the hoops and hurdles and want to be here. The other folks that just want to complain and, yeah, I'm going to Cambodia because it's much easier and all, please go. We don't need you here. I like to be around another group of folks that wants to be here and has taken the time to figure out the proper visa and the system, even though it's ever changing. I'm not saying it doesn't get frustrating. When I think I have it down, things change. But when I get into saying don't overplan, right now, and what is it right now? It's 2025, towards the end of 2025, you get the 60-day visa exempt from many countries. I think it's 93 when you arrive. That could very easily change back to 30 days. So if your master plan is to arrive, get the 60 days, and then go get a 1,900 baht 30-day extension, leave for 1 day, come back and rinse and repeat, that's not going to work forever. That's not the proper way to live here 100% of the time. And if you get called out on that, it's really nobody's fault but your own. And I'm not saying that's a problem. I've got a very, very good friend. He was, now he was going back to the UK a lot, so he wasn't here for months at a time. I know, again, experts online will say there's some magic solution. Oh, well, you have to be gone for at least 2 weeks and then it doesn't count. No, this guy was in the UK for like 2 months at a time. Then he'd come back, do the visa exempt, go get an extension. He loved to travel, so he'd go to Bali or wherever it was for a month. Then he'd go to Japan for 2 months, and he'd come back and get a 60-day visa exempt and a 90-day extension. He did that. He did it for a long time. I think he told me 6 or 7 times. Finally, they pulled him into the little room and said, nope, this is it. We're stamping you into the country. We're giving you 30 days. Not even the 60 days, and that stamp is a different color, so don't attempt to do this again. So he went and hired an agent and got the proper visa, and he's good to go. Again, get away with what you can get away with. I'm not saying otherwise, but don't complain when it kind of crashes down on you and think the grass is going to be greener in Vietnam or the Philippines or wherever, because they're going to have immigration and visa rules anywhere you go. Yeah, so the bottom line, if you want to live up in that smaller village and all, that's great. You can do that super, super affordably, but don't confuse the capital city of Bangkok or any of the larger cities, your Pattaya, Hue Hin, Chiang Mai. They're all going to come, not with the expense of Bangkok. Bangkok's maybe, I don't know, 30% more, maybe 40% than a lot of other places. Your money sure goes a lot further in Pattaya. Now, it's very easy to over party down there in Pattaya Beach, but a beer, San Miguel Light, 65 baht. It's not unusual to find 50 baht during happy hour. Here in Bangkok, there's places where, just using beer as an example, you can get that San Miguel Light for 95 baht all day. Many places it's going to be 140 baht and 90 baht during happy hour. So that's just a small comparison. But rents, everything's going to be a little cheaper in some place other than Bangkok. But if this is where you choose to come and you're, wanting to take different internet dates out to the latest nightclubs and all, you better be buying that bottle of Grey Goose once in a while, or you're just going to have a lot of first dates and not a lot of return calls on that second time you call her. And I'm not saying that's every Thai lady. My girlfriend hates nightclubs. She hates rooftop bars. She doesn't hate them, but she thinks they're a waste of money. And that's lucky for me. But she loves to travel. And if I started taking 10 trips and I didn't take her on any of them, there might be a conversation on that 11th trip. Hey, you know, I can get a little vacation. I'd like to go see Korea. And that's 100% fine. I enjoy traveling with my girlfriend Boone, and I don't mind buying that extra plane ticket at all. Here's the chapter night market on my street, Sukhumvit 26. 90% of the guys I know are just normal people, just really, really good people from all over the world. Again, it's great to meet all these interesting people that I may have never met just kicking back on the beach in San Diego. So that's cool. But every now and then you'll get that one guy who's just staring at every woman. I mean, even a beautiful lady sitting with a guy, he's just undressing her with his eyes, and it's just creepy to me. And you'll spot that guy every now and then. I've met a few of them. Just everywhere they walk in, they're just staring like strange at every lady, like they've never seen a lady in their life. And you also hear the so-called experts online talking about you're stupid if you even consider buying a condo or a house or anything here in Thailand. There's a YouTuber. He ironically made some of those videos, and then not even whatever it was, 6 months later he's buying a house and people are coming down pretty hard on him. And his explanation, it made pretty darn good sense to me. Basically, he was gonna have a mortgage of 11,000 baht. The house is in his wife's name. They drew up or maybe it was his girlfriend's name. But they'd been together years. They drew up a contract which basically said it's in her name, but she's not allowed to sell it without his signing off on it. So it is what it is. I mean, even like he said, if she were to somehow turn evil, and it hasn't happened yet, she's a nice lady, a nurse, so he's not really worried about it. But if the worst thing happened and she kicked him out of his house, well, he didn't put any money down. And yeah, he was paying 11,000 baht for the mortgage, but to rent that house, it probably would have been 30,000 baht or more. So I don't know. Didn't sound like he was making a poor decision to me, but just one comment out after another about what an idiot he is, and she's gonna keep the house and chuck him out the front door. Yeah, maybe if he bought the house cash for whatever, 100,000 US dollars, but putting a mortgage on the place, I don't know, 11,000 baht mortgage payment sounds better than a 30,000 baht rental payment to me. And to the best of my knowledge, we can't get a mortgage over here. A Thai can, so yeah, I mean, put it in her name. Who cares if you lose the place? Big deal. What are you collecting by paying rent for 10 years? So again, the guy online who's quick to point a finger saying you're an idiot, just rent. Not always. Guy doesn't know what he's talking about. So don't read those comments. I have another very good friend, sharp guy from New York City. In fact, hey, if you're out there, hit me up when you get back over here. I haven't seen you in a while, and I think you're about due to come over. He said the same thing, just because he met me through my channel, and he's watched all these other channels, and he was almost apologetic, like, hey, I know it's not conventional wisdom, but, you know, I'm not a spring chicken, and I don't want to deal with a bunch of landlords and all this and that, so I've been here, I've visited, and I'm going to buy a place. I'm going to buy a place cash. It was a condo, and put it in his name, and I said, there is nothing wrong with that. He's even stayed in the area, and I think even the building he's considering. This guy's a grown man. I'm not going to wave my finger at him. I don't think anybody else should. That no. You better, you know, go rent this place before you pay $80,000 for it, and it doesn't appreciate for 3 years or whatever. What a terrible investment. You should have put that all in some cryptocurrency and made 290,000%. A lot of us, we're just not so worried about making that cryptocurrency. We're a little bit more worried about, not worried, but wanting to enjoy the retirement years. And I wouldn't mind not having to deal with a landlord myself. And I have a great landlady. I've had this one for about 2.5 years, and I had a landlady in Newt for a year. No problems. The condo I'm in now, most condos are for rent and for sale. It's kind of a, yeah, this is my rental unit, but if you want to give me this price, I'm listening. My condo, like I say, I got for 19,000 baht, but I believe the sale price was 170,000 US. The condo would have been 80,000 baht. I probably would own that condo right now. But for 170, I might want to try another place. I might want to try another city. Heck, there are many places where you can get a really nice house for way less than 170,000 US dollars. Hey, so there you go. I might have confused some people. I might have gave some other people something to think about. Should you move to Thailand? I don't have any reason to make up some of the things I said. I'm trying to be sensible. I try not to just lock into one way of thinking, like every Thai lady is trying to do X, Y, and Z. It's just not true. Ladies are ladies all over the world. I mean, is it easier to date in Thailand than going out on some internet dates in San Diego? Sure it is. Some of the ladies online in San Diego, I don't know, you better make at least 200,000 baht and have your house, or baht, dollars, and have your house paid off and have $1 million saved in the bank or something crazy like that. I mean, yeah, that's really kind of cutting down your dating pool in your later 40s there in San Diego. But over here in Thailand, it's a little bit more like, again, I hate to generalize, but it's a little bit more like easygoing. Thai people are just accepting if you treat them with respect, if it's in dating or in dealings with your condo and your landlord and all. You just kind of get back the respect you pay forward. So if that sounds like something that might work out for you, come on over, give it a visit. I wouldn't just move right over. I mean, you can. I think you're not gonna get hurt. You can always have an escape plan to head on back. But come on over for a visit. Try to hang out for at least a month and just get a feel for the place. You'll decide pretty fast if kind of the fast-paced Bangkok is right for you, or some of the smaller places that are just a couple of hours away from Bangkok, and you kind of have the best of both worlds. Hang out on the golf courses of Hua Hin, or go scuba diving in outside of Pattaya in the Bang Saray area, and still be back in Bangkok in a couple of hours to hit the hospital. There's good hospitals in both those places, but you know what I'm saying. Come back to the city and do what you want to do here in the big town, not 100% of the time. So those are my thoughts. I wish everybody the best. Again, I'm just a regular guy. I'm out walking around, filming the streets of Bangkok, and sometimes I'll shoot a video hanging out with my friends or my girlfriend in a restaurant or a different pub. Other times I'm walking up and down the street and pointing out the different hotels and condos. So it's I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I'm just showing you Thailand, and I love it. I love living here. I wish everybody would come over and give it a try. It's fun. It's a great place to live. Your dollar, your pound, your Australian dollar, it's going to go further here than living in Sydney or Vancouver or London. That's for sure. You're not going to go back to 1950s prices. That's for sure. Things have gone up, and if you're on a little bit tighter budget, maybe consider looking at one of those towns up in Isan or even Hua Hin or Pattaya if you're not interested in traveling too far from Thailand or Bangkok, and your buck will go a lot further. But hanging out here in town, if you have realistic expectations on the budget and on dating, meeting people, and just dealing with the busyness of the city, then you'll do fine. Consider subscribing to my channel for more looks around town if that's something that interests you. I'm out and about making videos. I have a little search bar at the top of my channel. I think you can only do it on the laptop. I tried to do it with somebody on the phone the other day and it didn't pop up. But if you use a laptop, you can search everybody's individual YouTube channel. Just put in what you're interested in. I think I have about 1,000 videos, so I've probably been there and done that video-wise, and hopefully it'll show you some section of town you're interested in. So you have a great evening. I know this was kind of a longer video. I do longer videos. If you're looking for a 6-minute video guy, that's not really me. I'm out and about showing 2-mile-long streets, and I know a lot of commercials pop up. I've had different people in the comments say, I like the channel and all, but you put way too many commercials on there. I don't put the commercials. That's all YouTube. Now, I make a little bit of pennies with every commercial that's played, so I'm not opposed to the commercials. You can always buy YouTube Premium. I think it's about $20 in the US and be commercial free. And I still get paid a little bit if you have YouTube Premium and don't watch the commercials. I'm getting a little of that YouTube Premium money, but it's not me placing the commercials, so it's kind of like watching old school TV and having to sit through the commercials in between the show. It's no different here on YouTube. It's expensive for them to host all these videos storage-wise, and I can only imagine. So they need to make a few bucks with Chevy truck ads. And when they play it, I think I get 70% and they get 30%. I'm not sure, but fair enough. I'm not going to be creating my own video platform anytime soon. So we'll see you later. Have a great evening from Bangkok, Thailand, my favorite city in the world.